A great show here in the local hour for you guys. We've already done enough gloviating about ourselves. Let's gloviate about this here football game. The Texas Longhorns come over to Athens for a 7:30 kick inside of Sanford Stadium to take on the Dogs. The number 10 ranked Longhorns, the number 5 ranked Georgia Bulldogs. I've got a lot here for you, boys. I've got a lot of notes about who Texas is as a football team. Let's start with what I know. Now, obviously, we will have a football film breakdown for you guys. We have a film breakdown for you guys with regards to what to expect. We'll look at this offense and this defense from Texas. Really, this Texas defense, we've looked a lot at Arch Manning and that passing offense and what they've done over the last 6 quarters, but we'll really pay attention to that defense soon. But let's start with the offense and what you need to know. When you go to prepare for Texas, I think first and foremost, obviously stop the run, but more importantly, right now, you got to tackle the flats. You have got to tackle the receivers out in space. The last 2 football games for them, they have started both football games with a 60-plus yard explosive on the same exact play. Orbit motion, Ryan Wingo, throw it to him, 2 receivers over there, blocking 2 DBs. Ryan Wingo versus a safety or versus a linebacker on an angle, absolute to the door. Took one to the door versus Vandy, 80 yards to start the football game, think 75. And then 60 yards against Mississippi State to start that ball game. You have got to tackle the flats. They cannot have explosives that were thrown behind the line of scrimmage. That's unacceptable in this football game as a defense, all right? They've been bailed out, in my opinion, by explosives in the screens the last 3 games.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like if Georgia gives up explosives on the defensive end this year,
deep.
It's not necessarily because they've missed a tackle. Now, there was one against Ole Miss on that first drive of the third quarter. But
you just described Georgia defense for the last 7 years.
Yeah.
They're the best tackle and shed football team in the flats that there is.
If you're going to get them,
they practice it harder than everybody else, too.
If you're going to get them, it's because they had a bust in the back end.
And by the way, Texas is pretty damn good at that. Ryan Wingo's got great post runner, and they got deep play action with DeAndre Moore on deep overs. Like, they do some of the stuff that you've struggled with. Lord knows Florida hits you with 140 yards or the deep overs to start the football game. That's something you got to pay attention to. But no, I thought that they screened and flatted Oklahoma to death, Mississippi State to death, and Vandy to death. You cannot allow them to get cheap yardage out there in the flats. I still don't think they can protect their quarterback. I thought it was really, really weird that most of the TV copy that I saw from Vandy was them rushing 3, rushing 4, not really getting into forceful one-on-ones for these interior offensive linemen. That is what I would do. I would absolutely hunt the piss out of that center, that left guard, and whoever they got playing right guard. Is my man Campbell back? Let's look that up as well. Will you do that for me? Will you check their availability? I know that we don't have a media availability or injury report until tomorrow, but will you check whether or not DJ Campbell played last week? I think he's an important keynote figure at that right guard spot for these guys. I know he's been banged up the last several weeks. Still can't protect them. They don't run full 5-man pass concepts. They run 3-man pass concepts. They are a deep post, deep over football team with a hot into the flat. They do not run full 5 concept progressions, all right? So what I'm trying to tell you is they get 6, 7-man pass pros quite often. They're trying to hunt deep shots, okay? So we have got to add extra bodies to the box. Don't be out here dropping 8 like I felt like Vandy was quite often. We don't need all that back there. We can cover them with fewer bodies that we normally dictate to the back end because we just got done playing Mississippi State as a defense. They're a full 5 in the progression. They check the back out quite often. So a lot more threats to cover when we play those types of teams. Not a ton of threats here. So let's cover the threats, and everybody else, get after the damn quarterback because we got a chance at it.
I do know that DJ Campbell played against Vanderbilt, which was their last game.
So we're good there. He's going to play this week, especially after a bye. That's good news for the Longhorns. Let's go on to our next thought. Thought he had time, like I said, against Vandy because they didn't really pressure him. I think you have to pressure this football team right about now. Texas is 74th in the country in quarterback sack percentage. That right there says exactly what I'm talking about. If you put 5 on their 5, you're going to get home. I fully fledged believe that, despite the fact that most people would agree Georgia has struggled to get after the quarterback this year. I don't believe that will be the case today. What's up?
Just worth noting that I just wanted to look back at one of their most recent matchups. Mississippi State had 5 sacks and 12 tackles for loss against Texas.
I'm telling you, it didn't get better. It has not gotten better. The last 6 quarters have been about number 16 being a freak from within the pocket. They still getting after him. They're still sacking him. They're still not being able to run the football. They still can't protect the quarterback. This is Arch is playing great ball right now, and they're getting explosives in the screen game. That's it. If we shut that down as a defense, you should have a good day out there. They have yet to establish the run versus decent defenses. Highly doubt they will suddenly do so against you guys on Saturday.
So it sounds like to me that you're going to have an offense that can't really protect the quarterback, go up against a defense that statistically has not rushed the quarterback very well this year. Who do you feel like that matchup's favoring right now?
Well, I would say it's going to be give and take, okay? But here's the give. The give, you're going to get after him and sack him. The take is he's 6'3", 240 or 230 pounds. Most of your pressure has come from what's inside the pocket, inside the guards, okay? Their weak spots, inside the guards. What I'm telling you is on half the snaps, you might sack him. On half the snaps, his big ass might be rolling right or rolling left. And right now, that is terrifying. Terrifying. I said the first time we watched him, their best passing threat right now is his legs. Him getting outside of really bad pockets, extending plays, getting into a scramble drill, hunting deep explosives down the field. This kid keeps his eyes downfield better than most. So it's a good thing that they're bad at inside, right? It's a good thing that you're going to be able to get pressure. It's a bad thing that most of the time he's going to be rolling out of pockets. Now, can C.J. Allen pursue him out? Can we spy him? Like those things, a whole nother different level of discussion for another day. But they have yet to establish the run. They're very one-dimensional. I think they're young and not Sark standard at tight end. Is that fair?
Yeah.
You've seen them a lot this year.
Their loss of Gunnar Helm this year.
Had a high standard with Gunnar Helm there last year.
Well, had a high standard under Sarkisian's offenses. Like you go all the way back to the Alabama days. That's O.J. Howard. Like Sark has great tight ends all the time. I don't think they're the standard for Sark right about now. I talked about the left guard being a problem area right now. It still is. I still don't think they're like wholesome at the center position. I don't know how Texas fans feel about their center. When I watch him, I get very much so Cade Webb, like in the sense that everyone thinks you're good, but I don't think you're good. Like my interpretation of where you're at and the interpretation of everybody else, the way that they talk about you, I don't feel that way about their center right about now. Wingo plus Moore plus Livingston. That is their catching options in that order. And they're used in very specific roles. Ryan Wingo is their deep plus yak guy. If I'm giving a screen, it's to one. If I'm taking a deep shot, it's to one. DeAndre Moore is used as their deep over guy, all right, and their inside tunnel screen guy, all right. They like him in the type of stuff, all right. And then Livingston, his roommate, is the trustworthy guy. So here's how I would worry about this. First down, deep shot, aggressive territories, all right, 2nd and 2s. Hey, watch out for Wingo. Play the tendencies there, all right. Middle of the field, they're hunting an explosive 1st and 10 play action. Be looking out for DeAndre Moore on the deep overs. 3rd and 2. They can't run the football. Look out for Parker Livingston. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's how I would play their tendencies. And not really their tendencies as play callers, more their tendencies as a quarterback. That's who he's leaning on and how he's leaning on them is what I'm trying to get at right there. I mentioned it. I will hammer home the fact this is my last bullet point on their offense. I don't think they've gotten better. I think the quarterback has. And he's playing great ball right now, and it's very similar to the way I felt about that Alabama matchup. If they beat you, it's because the quarterback came in here and sliced you. And he can. He certainly can. And leaning on defense, which is where we're getting to next. I was disappointed in their tackling effort against Mississippi State. Really disappointed.
They've had some iffy games because it was similar to the way they played in Florida.
But statistically,
as well.
they're so solid. It makes no sense. Like, they're a top 10 team against the run in the country. They didn't look like that against Mississippi State.
No, they did not.
They did not tackle very well. And if you're a top 10 run defense, you should tackle. Like that's what you should be great at. It was very weird to see that happen. But again, statistically solid and personnel wise, like they're great. The Ethan kid, the Ethan Burt, or the tight end or the defensive end. Will you look his name up? Number 91, great football player, been playing SEC ball for a long time. Colin Simmons is the best hybrid edge rusher in college football. Ethan Burke. Colin Simmons is the best hybrid edge rusher in college football. Yanze Pierre playing great ball. Colin Simmons playing better ball. Okay. Anthony Hill, great football player. Is Michael Taft going to be available?
Yeah, he practiced.
So he's going to be available.
It sounds like they're pretty healthy coming.
They're pretty healthy, and that's good. I want these two teams to be at their peak when they go at it. I don't want any excuses made in this matchup. I do think they're young and bustable at the defensive back position. Yeah, they're young and bustable in the back end, Kirby. That's what they are. I think the film and the statistics would prove that. They're still big and burlesome Texas in that box, though. That box is tight. That box is big.
Come on, man. You're just lobbing them up now.
I think that if you are an edge rusher and you're going on your recruiting visits and they're like, buddy, we're going to let you play so free. We're going to let you do whatever you want. We're going to let you be the guy. We think you're him. Then you better put up some Colin Simmons tape from Texas this year and go, oh, yeah, you're going to let me do that? You're going to let me do what that guy gets to do? I don't know if there's a player in college football that's playing freer and outside of the traditional roles of your position than Colin Simmons. That kid is the definition of a float player. She gets to float wherever he wants. Oh, they're running stretch at you. You want to jump inside? Go ahead, buddy. Oh, it's 1st and 10. Oh, it's 2nd and 6. These are run downs for this football team. You want to queue up a pass rush because you think the tackle's a little light in his stance? Go ahead, buddy. You get to do whatever the hell you want. This kid gets to play so entirely free, which is why I'd run right at him.
I was going to say,
That's what you have to do to these guys.
Does that work out well for him more often than
Oh,
not?
yeah. No, he's a great player. And it's a great style for them because he's their only playmaker. Anthony Hill's great, don't get me wrong. But if anyone's going to create a fumble, if anyone's going to create a pressure that might get a pass that's intercepted, if anyone's going to flip the field right now, if anyone's going to create a fumble at the mesh point, it's number one. You know what I mean? So we have to let him do that. Because the only way we're going to get into a 2nd and 20 is if Colin does that, right? If he creates a hold or if he does something crazy. So, yeah, it makes total schematical sense. He is their best and most impactful player. Let him do whatever the hell he wants. I would let that happen. So, yeah, like Texas fans, I am of the belief that Anthony Hill is one of the best linebackers in college football. I would not go as far as to say he's like miles and away better than everybody else. I think he's great. I think he's going to be a damn sure great pro. But is this the guy from Feinbaum? Yes, it is. That's me. Hi. I'm the film guy. We talk a lot of ball around here. Welcome in.
I think Dangerous is a regular.
He is a regular.
Oh, he was just hyping me up.
Yeah, he's lobbing you up an easy one.
Yeah. Thanks, Dangerous. I got some more notes here. Anthony Hill, still Anthony Hill. I think if you tackle and protect, you should win the football game. If you tackle on defense and you protect your quarterback, you'd be all right.
My biggest thing about this game is, can Georgia still establish the run game against this Texas defense who's been really good against the run? Because the last time Georgia played a really good defense that was good against the run was Auburn. And I think Georgia finished with 76 rushing yards in that game. Now, you won the game still, but that's just kind of one of my questions of, can you still just like continue to rely on that against this defense?
The only team to really kind of hinder you is Auburn.
That's what I'm saying. That was the last really good run defense you played against.
It was on the road. It was a weird circumstance, and you lost Chauncey Bowens.
You also got put in a situation where you probably couldn't run as much as you would have liked to because you got down multiple scores. But that was just kind of my point of last time you faced one of these, you weren't exactly gashing them.
No, I mean, it's definitely something to pay attention to because Texas has the 3rd best rushing defense in the country statistically, while Georgia has the 19th best rushing offense. Like, it's a matchup that whoever wins that battle, I think, is going to be in a very, very good position to win this football game.
So here's the major question that not only we need to ask and that will be obviously talked about throughout this football game and the lead up to it. Does last year's both results in those football games, does it play any type of role in this game?
I don't think
They'll tell you no.
Texas will tell you no, too. Their players have been like, don't even know what you're talking about. Did we play last year?
I mean,
I have no idea.
It's two different teams. You got
It
two
is.
different quarterbacks.
They are.
Georgia's offensive identity has changed.
Texas
has not. But, I mean, they have a different type of athlete at quarterback now. Like, both defenses are still solid.
Here's why I think it does matter. That 50 front defense has created a lot of problems for this Texas running game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just like Vandy's tried this against them. A lot of teams that have watched the success that Georgia had defensively, the last 2 matchups against Texas, have dusted off a very similar defensive game plan. I even saw Ohio State jump into it. So, like, these wide nines, you're not running wide zone. We're going to split the middle of the field. We're going to close it. We're going to open it. We're going to change the looks. We're going to give you one thing pre-snap. You're going to turn your back to the defense. We're going to be in a completely different look. I do think there is a This is the third prep for a offensive coordinator and play caller in Steve Sarkisian that despite the fact that his quarterback is different, the system is not. Is that fair to say?
Mm-hmm. That's fair to say.
The quarterback's better. There's no doubt. We talked about it all year last year. I think we were one of the first to it. Like, hey, this other kid's pretty damn good. This kid is good. He's great. He's much better than the last one. I'm just saying. They got the keys. If there ever is a football team that has the keys to this offense, it looks like shoot.
Yeah, but the pushback on that would be that it feels like more so than ever, teams have had the keys to figure out how to score on this Georgia defense. I mean, Kirby Smart has basically come out and said in pressers, like, we concede the first drive at this point because their schemes and their first scripts are so well written that they're going to score touchdowns. So there's also advantages on both sides, I think.
I will say this. I mean, Vandy dusted off the same game plan from a year ago and got shredded.
Mm-hmm.
Shredded. So, obviously, Georgia, a lot better football team defensively than Vandy. But
to that point, though, I kind of thought that Texas would do a few things different in the SEC championship game, and they really didn't. And Georgia was
that bluff screen.
Yeah,
that bluff screen hit almost twice.
Mm-hmm. But Georgia's defense was able to kind of really maintain them in that game. So,
does it matter that Texas is coming off of a bye?
Yeah.
Like health-wise, yeah, it does.
Health-wise and just general scheming.
Right.
You get an extra 2 or 3 practices to rep what you need to rep.
Mm-hmm. But, I mean, yeah, I guess that. But the reps part, that certainly matters.
Yeah, and I will say this is mitigated by the fact that you were able to kind of get out of Mississippi State relatively
play a fourth quarter.
You ran, I think, 5 or 6 different run concepts. You didn't really have to dust off anything that manufacturing explosive. Your starters weren't really straining for the last 15 minutes of the game. So it was as good of a win as you could have had for the circumstances.
Here's a question I got asked today on Murray and Mack. Which quarterback you taking? I separated this into 2 different discussions. Who's playing the best and who am I taking right now with their parts? Give me Gunner.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me in 18 months. I'm taking 16.
Yeah, I think that if Arch continues to progress like we've seen over the last 6 quarters, the ceiling for Arch Manning is higher. I think we all knew that coming into the season. The consistency from Gunner Stockton and the ability to have his team rally around him and play for him is something that you don't really see in college football anymore. And for that, I'll take number 14. Now, like you said, the ceiling, the trajectory, if everything continues to go right for Arch Manning, it is Arch Manning. But I don't think that that's going to continue to progress significantly enough to make a difference on Saturday.
Not overnight.
I think they're both 2 very good quarterbacks, though.
Yeah.
I like Gunner Stockton a little bit more in this situation at home as well.
Yeah, today I'd take Gunner. He's been consistent the entire year. He's protected the football the entire year. I mean, and that guy's just been all around good. And not that Arch hasn't, but it's really been as of late, Arch has really started to pick things up for himself. But Gunner's just been little bumps up every single time throughout the week, it seems.
I just want to check something real quick.
What's up?
I know that he had a really good 2 quarters against Mississippi State before, going out with an injury. But, yeah, didn't look great against Ohio State. Didn't look great against Florida. Didn't look great against Kentucky. Arch Manning hasn't played tremendous on
I would
the
argue
road.
they didn't. I mean, he threw for like 177 yards in that Oklahoma game. Like that, they didn't win because of him. I'm with you. They won because of Wisner, in my opinion. And I think anybody who watched that football game, defense, special teams, and Wisner. It's been the last 6 quarters, Kirby.
I'm going to do some math real quick.
It's been the last 6 quarters of really, really good quarterback play for him. And it's has nothing to do with anybody else around him. They haven't gotten any better. He's just getting better. Mm-hmm. And I thought there was some frantic play early on in the year, but I also thought like midway through the season when he's sucking, a lot of that was scar tissue, dude. Like you're just getting your doors blown off every time you drop back and play quarterback. That's not a winning recipe. No run game, no protection, and at the time, no real consistent weaponry. Mm-hmm. I mean, Wingo just now popped. Yeah. Agree or disagree? Yeah. It's been like the last 3 weeks that this guy's just now popped. Go check some game logs on me. Maybe there's an early season spit there where we got 130 yards, but I feel like it's been the last 3 or 4 football games where Wingo, and I think there was an injury in the midst of that where maybe he had a finger going on or something. What do you got?
Oh, I was checking something else.
Oh, I thought you were checking stats on Wingo, but
No, I was going to bring up the fact that while Arch Manning is playing good, teams that struggle to run the ball and then walk into a game against Georgia and really struggle to run the ball and have to live and die by throwing the ball, it typically doesn't work out for them. Now, Alabama managed to do this, and like you mentioned, that's kind of what you would be. That's what you're afraid of going into this matchup if you are Georgia, is Arch Manning is able to put on a performance like that. But I mean, a big reason why Georgia was able to really kind of handle Texas the way they did in the regular season last year and ultimately beat them in the SEC championship game is because Georgia nullified their run game. And while Arch Manning isn't Quinn Ewers, I think that really kind of put Texas in a tough position against Georgia because they could not pick up yards in the run game consistently.
Yeah, I was looking at the splits for Arch Manning home and away. He throws for about 40 less on the road, so it's not that big of a split.
No, they don't strike me as a home-away football team like some of these other. They're a pro-style offense, that's why.
But to go back to what you were
talking about. There is a lot of window dressing, though.
To go back to what you were talking about, Jay Will, there is an opportunity here, and I think the requirement is going to be being that efficient on third down. It felt like when we were sitting in that booth watching Alabama do what they did in Sanford was almost an anomaly. No team's going to play this well on third down. No team's going to be able to convert this many and have this many sustained drives. And you did all of that, and Alabama walked away with 2 points and got shut out in the second half. I don't think that that's going to be the recipe for success against Georgia this week. I think that if it is something they're going to have explosives, consistently getting explosives, Arch Manning getting outside the pocket, causing issues, I don't know if they're going to be able to just, hey, we don't want to have a run game today.
I did see where someone in chat said that Texas is 129th in penalties.
They are. I have a couple of stats that I broke down.
I wish I knew how many of those holds. That's what I was going to figure.
They're a bad holding football team because of the way that they play offense.
Yeah, I mean,
the way that they stretch the way that
zone,
they run wide zones.
Stretch zone consistently leads to more holds, and when you don't have a very good offensive line, you're going to get even more holds. By the way, Georgia's 34th in the country in penalties. So there's a couple of interesting statistics to break down from this game. I think that, like we said, the biggest one was Texas's rushing defense versus Georgia's rushing offense. Texas also has the 10th best turnover margin in the country at 0.9 per game. So I think that's going to be the other thing to pay attention to. If they can force turnovers against Georgia, now they've been very good at taking care of the football as of late, but if Gunnar Stockton has an errant throw or if you had a fumble somewhere along the way, Texas typically takes advantage of that. Georgia's also the worst team in the SEC at sacks for 125th. So that does kind of, again, it's kind of a style clash of a team that can't protect their quarterback versus a team that can't get after him. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Georgia's one of the best teams in the SEC with yards per play at 6, so that's going to be very interesting to watch. I think that this basically boils down to we've seen Texas sputter mightily throughout the year. We've also seen them explode. That said, I don't know if Georgia plays with fire more than any other team in the conference. They do that more than they should, absolutely. It's going to come down to how many times can Arch Manning get out of the pocket and extend drives for this team? Because it's been shown that it can happen.
Yeah, those are – I don't know. But like team – and here's the thing is like – and I saw I can't remember who it was. I saw someone throw up a stat about how Georgia did this last year where like at the halfway point of the season, they were one of the worst teams when it came to sacks, getting pressures, all that stuff. And then the bye week happens, and for the second half of the season – Georgia was much better at getting sacks, much better at pressure rates. And I think that you've kind of seen this too with how Schumann and them have, like you mentioned, Brooks, how they've kind of changed how they're trying to get after the quarterback when their sacks happen. Like it's a whole lot more of using C.J. Allen up the middle and trying to push it up there as opposed to like at the beginning of the year, I think you're just trying to figure it out as a collective, like where is the best way for us to find these pressures and get after the quarterback. I think Georgia's kind of found their identity there. So I think that's certainly something that could play a factor here as well.
Here's a question for you.
What's up?
How much is Zayden Walker a name to learn ahead of this matchup?
Oh, I mean, we saw him get dusted off last week. So now I don't know if that was because they needed immediate wins. If you play that hybrid 9-tech role this week, you better be able to hold the point against the run.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in that game because he could get home on Chapin now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't know if the can we get home now this week is all that important. Can we convert run to pass? That's the important thing this week. You know what I mean? Can we hold up against a play action fake that might be stretched to our face and then shuck a block and get home.
Is there a possibility he becomes your kind of designated third down guy?
For sure. I mean, they're looking for DPRs all the time, designated pass rushers. And that's all who has the highest win rate in one-on-ones. I can guarantee you that. Mm-hmm. If you are winning the most reps in one-on-one Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday at that place consistently week over week, you're going to get moved into a DPR role. I mean, we saw this with Chris Cole. We're seeing this with Zayden Walker now that Chris Cole is dealing with something. What is that, by the way?
I don't know. I have no idea.
He got a hangnail?
Heck if I know.
It might be a toe? It might be a classic Daniel Harris groin.
Okay. He got a set of lungs?
Mm.
I don't know.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes?